Yeah, already there's just emptiness. Everything is empty. There's nobody behind anything. There is no victim. There's no sufferer. There's no doer. Because when that is looked for, it can never really be found. We may say that it's just a thought. You know, even that thought, when it's looked for, it's just never there. So even the one who's looking can never really be found. So there's nothing looking and there's nobody, or there's nothing uh, that is suffering that seems to have a problem, and there are no problems. They are all these are just imaginary. It's just an imagination. I'm a man uh, whose name is James, was born in a certain location. That's just a that's just a thought. That's just an information. You know, it's just a program, if I should say. That is just never there. It's not somebody. There's no real separate somebody who can suffer anything as a result of anything. So what seems to be problems or anything that seems to be a challenge, it's not a challenge and it's not a problem at all. The problem, the main problem has to do with the imaginary separate self that is believed to be real, if I may say, because that's when it doesn't exist. So things are just happening, you know, but there's no suffering. And they are not happening for somebody. They're just happening. There's just thinking happening, moving around happening, coming up with ideas happening, finding solutions happening, meeting in the boardroom happening, driving off a car happening. There is no doer of any of that. It's just what's happening.
Do you know the word gumption?
Yeah, the word gumption. No.
Um, I don't know what another word for gumption is. Let's see here. Mm, my, I missed the wrong word. Uh, the energy to do. I don't know. This like bursting with uh potential. Sometimes it feels like we just have so much power. There's the illusion of not in a mystical way. Um Decision, action, the will to action.
Yeah, I understand. I
All
understand.
all that stuff appears to be there. Like
Yeah,
sometimes you're
that's
in the mood to lift weights and you lift weights and exercise. And sometimes you don't have any energy to lift weights or exercise. Sometimes I go out in the forest by the streams to meditate. And sometimes I'm like, I'll just do it in my backyard. It's a difference in gumption, you know?
yeah.
Oh, that's coming from somewhere else. That's what you're
Yeah,
saying.
I would say, yeah, I would say everything is being done by nothing. There's nobody who's doing everything. Now, the same as like right now, the blinking is just happening. You're not doing it. Are you doing it?
No. But when you ask me, then I'm doing it. As long as I'm paying attention to it, then I can have the decision to do it. That's a perfect example, right? I
Yeah.
don't blink until you say, do you blink? And then I'm the one who blinks. And then I can't stop thinking about, okay, I'm blinking.
Yeah. Even when you are sleeping, snoring happens. But then somebody says, "Oh, you've been snoring." Then you say, "Oh, when? When? I don't remember snoring." So snoring is just happening. You're not doing it. But somebody who's listening may say, "Oh, you are snoring so hard."
So Gadata points out that if you put your fingers together and you think about yourself being in the forefinger, and you can feel your forefinger touching your thumb. And then if you think about yourself being in your thumb, and you can think about your thumb touching your forefinger.
Yeah,
You're projecting your idea of self into one and then the other to define an illusory relationship.
perfect example.
Yeah.
So, um, going to the kitchen to prepare some food, it may seem as if you are doing it, but actually it's the same as when blinking happens and snoring happens. You're just never there. It just happens. Mm.
Sometimes I don't feel like eating, and I don't go cook any food. And Melissa says, "You better eat some food, or you're going to get a headache." And I just get a headache. It's
Yeah,
because I don't have any gumption.
yeah, yeah. So there's no doer of anything. So if any situation arises, then there's something that says, "Oh, this is a big problem. I need to sort it out." You know, without that thought being there, that can be sorted out. Like, it doesn't need anyone to say, "Oh, now I'm gonna," you know, you know. But that's not to say that is good or bad. It's just what happens. This in its uh, um, limitlessness. It may express as a limited one or limited somebody. You know. It's not to say that it's just another thing that's up here or something that is outside of this. It's just this also appearing in its limited states, if I should say, expressing as that. Then if it feels that now it's too much, you need to go back to, then it may as well get back to its ultimate self, which is everything. So that what seems to be the dual of things is not separate from totality. It's just totality expressing as that as well. So if it decides that, oh no, I'm tired of this little expression or limited expression, I need to go back, then that's what it does. So anything may arise. Yeah, anything may happen. It really doesn't matter because everything is this. It's just this. So the separate one is just never there. It's not real. It's not real. So when there's a situation, there's a huge problem. When the only solution there is just to stop imagining, just be what you are. Because you have never been anything else but yourself. Totality, everything. It's like the prodigal, just making an example. The
The
prodigal
what?
son,
Oh, the prodigal son. Yes.
yeah, never left his father's house. He only imagined that he left. It's just an example. Yeah. So there's only imagination that seems to appear that, oh, and now I'm going that side, I'm a man, it's all imagination. So when he decided to come back home, it's when he decided to stop imagining and just realize that you have never left home. You only imagined that you were outside. You have always been inside. Yeah.
So you
Your
never
true
get to own
self.
anything. You never
Sorry?
get to own anything. You never get to realize anything. You never
Yeah.
get to keep anything. You never get to be anything. You never get to understand anything. It doesn't make any difference. Is that what you're saying?
What you are is formless. It's empty. It's not solid. The formlessness that is everywhere present. It's not a man or a woman. It can never be known. It can never know itself. But it's everything. It's the only thing that is. At times it may identify with the body. It may identify with its own expressions and say, oh, I'm this body. But even in the midst of that, it's still itself. It has never been anything else but itself. At times, an advice or a suggestion may happen that just look where you're looking from rather than looking outside. Then everything is seen clearly that you have always been yourself. You have never been anything else. You are not what you imagine yourself to be. You are that which is beyond any imagination. You are that which even the imagination happens in it. But itself as it is not imagined. It's just there, formless and empty. It's not moving. It's not in the past. It's not in the future. It's not even in the present. It's everything. It's here. You cannot get it because you are it. You cannot reach it because there's no distance to it.
Can't understand it.
Sorry?
You can't understand it. It can never be
Yes.
understood.
Yes. Because the separate self is imaginary. It's just a thought construct. So it can never really understand anything. So the imaginary separate self can never receive any help, can never get anything, can never be anything because it's already not there. So at times it may seem to disappear. And then, sorry, it is seen that it was never even there. So it never really disappeared. The disappearance was illusory. It's illusory. nothing disappeared. So what's here is effortless, natural, and obvious.
Obvious, but it cannot be understood.
Yeah.
Just looking around at the trees the other day. All of a sudden, I looked at this patch of ground. It was sort of barren, and it had poison ivy all over it. You know what poison ivy is?
No.
It's like
I know
a
poison.
right.
That's the
It's like a little weed that grows that has toxic oil on it. And if your skin brushes up against it, then you get this rash. It itches and takes a few weeks to go away. Feels like mosquito bites. But anyways, just looking at this patch of poison ivy that I should really try to get rid of because it's where I meditate. And all of a sudden, it just was like super in focus. And super aware, It's like all of a sudden it was like looking at a person's face. It was like alarming. And it was just sort of like that's it, you know. I looked around and everything was really beautiful, but this patch of poison ivy on this barren land, which was not beautiful, was just like imbued with a spirit. It's just, I don't know. Does that happen to you? Probably happens to you all the time. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, and I know what you mean. Yeah, but here, there's beauty in everything, even the things that seem not to be natural, you know.
But it wasn't like
Like
beauty. It wasn't like beauty. It was like a sense of awareness and a sense of focus and crispness. You know,
mm,
I mean, I feel like it's a reflection of deepening meditation. But just happened for a few minutes, and
yeah.
that
So
was it.
what was felt when you were looking at it? What was felt within? Was it uh, peace?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was definitely a very peaceful meditation, and it was a continuation of several days of really nice meditation in the forest. So it happened almost right after I sat down. I was excited to get into the forest and just sit. And then it was just like right there, like it had been waiting for me. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, such things may happen, may arise. Some glimpses of some, excuse me, supernatural things, may seem to arise at times. Mm.
I mean, it was just different than I've had it before. I don't know. And that with the focus thing. Yeah.
You know, I, I, I would suggest that you know, during your meditations, uh, in most cases, the attention moves like back into the past, which it, the past which is not there, and the future which is not there into the future. Sometimes it would go into thoughts, and be with thoughts. But when you bring that attention from the past or the future or from any thoughts back to yourself and keep it, hold it into yourself within, then things may seem to lighten up, eh, just by doing that. Because
I feel like,
yeah,
maybe not the self, but the forest, you know, forest is so beautiful and so peaceful that if I'm really looking at it, then it's hard to think about anything else.
yeah, yeah,
But
I understand that.
this morning I fantasized about building a koi pond. So that happened for about 10 minutes.
During meditation,
Yeah. They're like, oh, wait, I'm supposed to be meditating.
yeah,
My mind loves a juicy problem. That's why I like the
mm,
woodworking. It's like my mind, if it's thinking about building a koi pond or doing woodworking, it's a very impersonal problem, right? Goes and crunches on the different things and forgets that I'm me, you know,
yeah,
feels good. But
yeah. The attention likes to fly around, go. It's not that you move out. When somebody says, "Oh, I had glimpses, of this and that," it's when the attention is just here, kept here. Mm. But when it starts to move out, then somebody will say, "Oh, I lost enlightenment.
yeah,
I was one with everything. Now I lost it." No, the attention, it moves out and go out into the what's so-called relative, and the world or the business, the activity seems to be engaged with the activity. There, then it will seem as if you are there, but no, you're always yourself. It is your own attention that seems to move around. But when it's brought back and kept within to yourself, to that which is looking from behind these eyes, then you know everything seems to line up.
okay, I will try it.
Yeah. Yeah. You will even sense that, oh, it's trying to move out. It's trying, until it gets used to that it will be easy. The more you do it, the more it become easier. But when you start, it's gonna be shaky. You know, think about the food that you ate yesterday. Think of, goes to the bathroom and your colleague, your partner.
Yeah.
That's how it moves. Yeah.
Well, I mean, generally, I try to not not push myself around, you know, but try not to engage with that stuff too much, with the thoughts about my day or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And if it's beautiful enough, then I can be kind of at peace and wordlessly work on the things that we discuss, you know, wordlessly. Um, Sometimes I imagine one solid media. Listen or just feel the stillness. Um, but I don't pay too much attention to myself and my body. But sometimes, once things open up, then I'll reflect on my body, and it doesn't seem like my body, which is always interesting. Um, but I don't start there. I'll start there typically. Like even now, when we have these conversations, I tend to look at that doorknob over there. and and that brings me back somehow. I don't know. But if you suggest it, I'll try it.
Yeah. 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 You should try it. Should try it. Yeah. It's something that came up just now, you know. Yeah. 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 They're just labels, everywhere. Just labels. But everything as it is already nameless. It's already nameless. And there's so much beauty there when things are seen as they are. There's so much beauty. And everything is empty already. Everything is empty. You know. There are no mountains. There are no trees. There are no seas, no rivers, no skies, no clouds. Everything is empty. Everything is this already. Names are just labels. As I used to say that the computer screen, it doesn't say it's a computer screen. It seems as it may seem as if there's somehow a projection that or a label that comes as you look at it and say it's a computer screen. But itself as it is, it doesn't say I'm a computer screen. It's just there's so much silence. There's just that silence. When you look at it, there's silence behind, undisturbed silence in everything. That's why when you look at the forest, you that silence, undisturbed silence within you may seem to arise because there is silence in everything. Somehow the mind is silenced by just by looking at those objects. But if you look at the trees, there's just trees. Then that will once arise, that won't arise. But when you look at them, at those trees, just look at them as they are, then the deep silence may seem to arise. Somehow, everything that seems to be separate merges together, and it is seen that nothing is separate from anything, everything is one. You know, when you look and feel that silence within. And you look at anything and feel that silence without judging it, without saying anything about it, then you feel peace, that deep silence arising within. And that undisturbed silence is already there. It's already there. The busyness of the mind, somehow it seems as if it's blocking it, but it's never really blocking it. It's when the attention is there with the activity, and then it may seem as if the silence is no longer there, you know, but it's always there with you. Just this busyness. The attention moves out and then focuses on the activity. Then when it moves back, then it is recognized that I've never left. I've always been here as everything.
Yeah, this morning the garbage truck came when I was in the forest, and it was a garbage truck, right? The amount of what they had like in South Africa, but huge trucks and really loud. They take all the garbage from these bins, and it was like booking it around the forest area on the outside perimeter, and it was so loud. just cascading through the trees, and I was just really thinking about that, you know, how even though it was like so loud, it was almost like a loudness that was framing the stillness because it was so beautiful in that forest, you know. It was like somehow the noise was just there to accentuate the silence and stillness of the trees. You know.
Yeah. So you, so the silence was felt
Yeah.
even beyond the noise that was.
Yeah.
Mm,
While the truck was driving by. Yeah. Because I was already in a
mm,
place, you know. Yeah.
mm, mm. Yeah, you know, even the loudest noise that may seem to appear, that's undisturbed silence is louder than it. When that's when it doesn't arise, that shouldn't be happening. If something says, "Oh, that shouldn't be happening," it should stop, and then. But when that doesn't arise, when that huge noise is accepted as it is, you know, without any judgment, and then this silence may seem to even be louder than the noise. So it doesn't really matter. A huge explosion may happen, but you know, it will seem as if nothing ever happened. Because that silence is louder. Undisturbed silence is undisturbed, can never be disturbed by anything. So it is already this. It is already everything. So it can never really uh, be seen, be grasped, be understood. Because it's everywhere present as nothing. So appearances may seem to happen, may seem to appear, like the bodies moving around, people driving cars, you know, going around, birds flying. Those are just appearances in it, and they are beautiful. They are seen as beautiful because they are just an expression of that undisturbed silence or this. So nothing matters to this because everything is this. You can never get it because you are it already. Even a thought that says, "Oh, I'm not yet there," it's already this. Even the one that says, "Oh, I need to do something about it." Maybe in my meditation someday I will get it. That's it's too appearing as that. So it can never, no one can escape this because what seems to be everyone is already this. the movement, somebody driving a car, it's still disappearing the states. There's no real movement. It's just stillness. Stillness all the way. These bodies may explode or be obliterated, but what you are can never be disturbed. It can never go anywhere. It can never be destroyed. It's beyond any destruction. It can never be burned by fire. It can never get wet. It can never even be shamed, will be put into shame. What you are is shameless. It really doesn't mind. Anything may arise, it doesn't mind. It is the unborn. It was never born. The undying. So being born knows nothing about death or dying. It doesn't know death, doesn't know being born. It is the unborn and the undying. It's always here. It doesn't know you as real because it's everything. So it only somehow knows itself. I would put it in that way. It knows itself. But knowing itself is knowing nothing. So God doesn't know you because there's only God. There's no you and God. There's just God.
Yeah. God doesn't know you. I don't think you'll find that one in the Bible. It might be in there somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. About 9:10. I I'm going to be in the UK next week, so that's closer to your time zone. But I'll have lots of meetings, so
Okay.
maybe sometime during your days. Are your days usually free?
Yeah, you can maybe you can give me a call or send a message, and then I will make arrangement to,
Okay.
if you find spare time,
Yeah.
I'll make arrangements to talk.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know when I'll have meetings yet. they're all being set up now, so that would be good. We could be flexible. I'll just use Messenger.
Yeah. 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 Computer states.
Messenger will be used.
Messenger. What a name. Uh, how is um how is Martha? I haven't. Yes.
Well,
She okay.
I haven't been on the family calls for a long time, but I did dial in on Sunday, and she was there with her mom and Charlie.
Oh,
They're
wonderful.
getting her mother set up an assisted living, and she's moved across the street, and she just looks happy as she could be, wearing those beautiful Martha dresses and smiling, and it was nice to see her. Seems to be doing well. I
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I didn't talk to her about you because it was a Kremenak call, so I didn't.
Yeah, I understand.
But
Understand.
yeah, maybe I'll next time I'm back, I'll definitely seek her out, spend some time with her. But she seemed to be doing quite well. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful.
So all that stuff in Africa worked out just fine, huh? She got her money out and nobody ripped her off. And
Wow, wonderful.
no, I'm
Wonderful.
asking. I don't know. I figured you knew.
Uh, yeah, she never told me. Okay, she used to say, I must pray for her
Yeah.
for everything to work out perfectly. Yeah, but when she left, she never got back to me and tell me how everything went.
Well, I'm sure if she got ripped off, then she would have been sending emails to everybody about how she got ripped off. So, and I didn't see any of those. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, it's a good sign. It's a good sign. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
All day I zoom all day, and then I work pretty hard, and I've just cut out. This is the only Zoom call I do for fun anymore. It's because I need to spend time in three dimensions, you know, being there with my wife and so forth.
Yeah.
This was too much. Maybe I'll write her an email. That would be a good way, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you're gonna send an email?
Do you have Martha's email?
Hmm. Yeah, I think I do have. I'm gonna check. I'm
Oh,
gonna
but you've
check
got
that.
WhatsApp.
What's up?
You've got her WhatsApp, which is probably the same, so you can still contact her that way, I suppose.
Oh yeah, yeah. I thought maybe it's gonna change when she yeah,
Oh, the phone number changes. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, let me send you her email address, so that you can reach out to her. She'd like that.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. I
I
will
love that.
message I will messenger you her email address.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah. And my aunt is getting ready as well. She's very shy.
She must be very confused about this weird guy from America who calls you every week.
Yeah. Now I think she's used to it now. Before, he used to ask me, "Oh, who are you talking to?" Yeah. She's 60, I think she's 65 now. 64. Yeah.
I bet she looks younger than me.
She looks older.
Oh, she does. You're not supposed to say that so she can hear it.
I know she's fine now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she looks maybe,
Well, she works very hard, so
yeah, yeah, very hard, very hard.
yeah.
Every day she like she wakes up at 3 a.m. and then catch a bus at 3:30, get to work at 6 o'clock, then she comes back again at 6 o'clock in the evening. Yeah,
That
she's a
means
hard
she's not.
worker.
And then what time does she get home? 8 or 9?
Around 7.
Around 7. That's good. So then she cooks, and then she cooks you dinner.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe you could learn how to cook in Kosi.
I do sometimes. I do sometimes, but normally she would bring maybe takeaways
Yeah,
because there's only three of us now. My brother left
yeah.
and his wife.
So your nephew is still living with you?
Yes, yes.
And then how's your brother and his wife doing? They come over in the weekends? You see them?
Yeah, they've been visit. They usually visit during weekends. They would visit during weekends. And my brother just bought. I think he bought his wife a new car.
A what?
He bought his wife a new car.
A new car, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
They
that
just
sounds
came
good.
over the weekend.
So they
Yeah,
drive over. They don't have to take a bus.
yeah. They drive because it's quite far where they are living now. It's quite far.
Yeah. So do you have to help with your nephew and make him do homework and stuff?
Yeah. So sometimes when he asks me to help, and then I would help. But normally, he keeps everything to himself. Yeah. But sometimes if there's a difficulty in any homework, in doing a homework, and then I will help there and there.
What is he, 14? Is that how old he is?
I think, yeah, it's 14,
Yeah.
14 years. 14.
Oh, and lots of friends around?
Yeah, he does have friends. He does have friends. Yeah, he does have friends.
That's
But
good.
normally he he always inside the house. He doesn't leave. Busy with TikTok on the phone, all that.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna let you go and I'll let you I'll text you next week to figure out a time.
Okay. No
Okay.
problem. No problem.
Thank you, Nkosi.
You're welcome. You're welcome.